Hey, Banties. It's Halo,
Guys.
joined by my bestie one, Samu. Sam, this was a very incredible interview with, I would argue, the best hitter in college softball right now. What a
Who?
light, what fun, what really fun insight into a golden ticket moment that we got as well. This is, I feel like I say this every week, but this is one of my favorite interviews to date.
It's it's hard to just not be jazzed about it. Like she was real fun. She was
She
fun.
was. And it's cool to see. I think what people are going to get out of this is just the level of intention, I think, that this special
Mm,
guest had just in her
yeah.
process and her off season was like allowed her to absolutely take over college softball from a hitting standpoint.
Yeah.
So yeah, sit back, relax, enjoy, and please welcome Arkansas superstar Bri Ellis.
Pig.
Woo pig!
Okay, you guys, welcome to another amazing episode of Bases and Banter. I realize I say that at the front and the episode hasn't actually happened yet, but I have really good feelings and high hopes for this. So, to introduce our guest, I'm going to let you guys know a little bit about her. She is a senior at the University of Arkansas. She's a native of Houston, Texas, and transferred to Arkansas ahead of the 2024 season after spending her freshman and sophomore years at Auburn. She's the NCAA active career home run leader with 70, that's 7-0. Currently batting .490 with 50 hits, 22 home runs, 8 doubles, 62 RBI, 124 total bases. I'm still going. 53 runs scored, 45 walks, all while posting a .646 on base percentage and a .1216 slug. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna run out of breath. You guys, Bri Ellis, welcome.
Hello.
Oh my God. I knew it was a crazy resume, but then reading it out loud, it's really crazy. Can you tell us about like what's going on with like how are you doing with having such a monster season?
I don't know. I kind of I forget about the numbers a lot, which is a good
Cool.
thing, honestly.
Cool.
Um, I'm not as like obsessed with them this year as I was in previous years, and I'm sure that's helped like keep pressure off, and it's not as much of a like I have to get a better batting average. It's more of just like I don't know. I feel like I'm just kind of doing my thing right now instead of trying to kind of manipulate outcomes. I'm more or less just focused on my process and being an athlete and just kind of going with my little mantras and knowing that like hitters are going to hit. It doesn't matter what it looks like. It doesn't have to be perfect. And so that's been helping me a lot. And just the numbers are cool. I don't know like what really good numbers are. So like when people talk to me about like your numbers are amazing, it's like when you said slugging, like I get what the slugging percentage is, but I don't really know like in terms of everything else what a good number is. So it's just kind of like the coolest one to me is the batting average because it's like I can't believe I'm hitting the ball this much. Like that's so cool.
Amazing. Well, you see it a lot with like slappers obviously having high batting averages, but you're obviously a power hitter. I'm curious, like, it's your senior year. Is there something that was very intentional for you this off season? Because just in watching you and your demeanor, it seems like you're playing a lot more free. Was there something that like clicked? Was it a conversation with Coach Deifel about you coming into this last season that you feel like has allowed you to put all of these huge numbers up?
So I had like you said, a very intentional off season, going into the fall, like the fall season. I had a just flat out terrible fall season. I was so like distraught. I think I got like 2 hits the entire fall, and they both came in the last game where I'd finally figured some stuff out. But what kind of did it for me in the fall was it almost felt like my back was against the wall a little bit. And I had several conversations with Coach Steifel and Coach Gasso about it. And they would like say, like, you're so dramatic. Like, it's the fall. Your back isn't against the wall. Like, relax. But for me, it just felt like, oh my gosh, like, here we go, last season, and like this is how I want to hit, and this is how like it's gonna happen. And so it took me kind of taking a step back and having to let my perfectionist kind of personality let go a little bit, which was so hard to do. And that's why I brought up that it felt like my back was against the wall, because that was the only case scenario that my brain would allow me to let go. It's like, okay, well, this, we've tried everything else and nothing else worked. So yeah, like, okay, fine. We will take a day off. We will rest our body. That's fine, since you've already done everything else and it didn't work. And so a lot of that mentality of just letting go and figuring out how to talk to myself was huge. I going through the struggles of the fall, I was trying to be like, like nice to myself, and it was like nails on a chalkboard, and it was like I'm going 0 for 20 something, and I'm like, it's fine, like it'll come, it'll work out. And like after a few months of that, it was so just terrible, and it was like draining, because that's not who I am and that's not how my brain works. And so we have a sports psychologist here, and I was talking to him about it, and I was like, this sucks. I absolutely hate like being, not necessarily being positive, because I am a positive person, but like it's hard for me to have bad outcomes and be okay with it. So I'm like working through that with him, and the conclusion we came to was that that's not how my brain is wired, and that's not how I was raised to play. Is I was raised hard on myself, and so that's what like got me here, and it's got me the success I have. So it's almost like he gave me the okay to be hard on myself again, but on like more of a spectrum. And so being hard on myself doesn't mean I have to be like my own worst enemy and like kind of recreate a narrative in my head for myself and let my anxiety get the best of me. But I can't just go around not hitting for 5 games straight and be like, I'm fine. Nothing's wrong. Nothing's wrong. Like, that's just not me. So
We're
it's
not
like,
fine. We're not fine.
right. So like getting back to kind of like very intentional like self-talk and what I'm thinking, and that's been a huge help. And yeah, I thought that was really cool learning that over the fall. And I haven't really heard many people talk about it's okay to be hard on yourself, you know?
Yeah, this is actually, I love hearing this, because I think it is important that people are different in the way that they approach the game, in the way that they deal with failure, in the way that they deal with success. I actually have a funny story. It's actually about Nicole Schroeder, who played at Arkansas. And she was on a hot streak when we were playing pro with Akron Racers. And I was like, man, what's going through your head? And she's like, oh, I just don't care. I just go in and I just don't care. Whatever happens, I just don't care. You should try it. And it's like, you know what? Whatever. Let's go try it. I get in the box. I don't care. I strike out. And I was like, that was the worst thing that I could have ever tried to do. You should have just told me to go up there left-handed. That's how bad it was.
Yes.
But the idea that you can do something different, because I'm someone who's a little hard on myself as well. So it's like, how did I get to this point? By doing this. So you can't all of a sudden change the recipe to expect a different, sauce. But I think that's so important to hear from someone who's doing so well. And I wanted to point out, you've had a good career. You've had steady numbers. I did some research. I looked it up. You've had steady numbers. One thing that stands out to me the most is over your career, your freshman year, going in order. Freshman year, you walked 13 times, and then 32, 30. This year, you've walked 45 times. And in the strikeout category, this is where I'm so obsessed with. I love numbers, and I know what all of the numbers. It's actually a problem. Strikeouts as a freshman, 23, 37, 24, and only 10 so far this year. So what that's telling me is that you're having a season like full of intention, full of adjustment. So can you walk us through a little bit about maybe like your pitch selection or anything that goes into those kinds of things?
At Higginbotham, we put people first. Our specialists are here to serve you, the people you care about, and your success. Insurance, HR, and financial services. Inspired by you.
So when it comes to like walking, some of them have been intentional, but a lot of them haven't. And especially at the beginning, before people really kind of like figured out that I was like consistently good and not just like having a good pre-conference. I had a lot of talks with Coach Seifel over the summer about intentionality, like you said, and there was one specific area that comes to mind, and it was in the SEC tournament last year. We were playing Missouri. I think it was like bases loaded or something. Like it was a close game. Like it was a really high pressure moment, and I think it was a 3-2 count. And instead of just taking my walk, I swung at a ball, and they did not want me to touch the ball, but I went out of my way, swung out of my shoes, and just looked like a fool. And that like scarred me I haven't forgotten about it since. But it's like, what if I had just let the ball go? Like, we would have gotten a run either way. But I was trying to make something out of nothing. And I was trying to, instead of just kind of letting the result happen and letting the at bat play itself out, I was trying to manipulate it and get the result that I wanted. And so that was where I had kind of focused on a mindset shift from result oriented to like, progress oriented, or, like everything that goes into it.
Yeah.
And, kind of like my mindset. And that's been huge. And just always remembering to let the moment happen. And I'm not trying to go out of my way to make something happen. And then the strikeouts, I think it's just, people are like, oh, you only have 10 strikeouts. And it's like, man, and those 10 at bats that I struck out, I'm still angry that I struck out. And I'm still upset because I think more than half of them came off Carlin Pickens.
Dang.
And like, I just like that weekend, let's just say she's incredible, first of all. But yeah. It's just like the strikeouts that I do have, it's like looking back, it's like, man, what was I doing? Why was I just swinging and being dumb? And so really like just trying to do things and get on base for my team and let my team work behind me.
I love that so much.
Wasn't it against you that she threw the 78-mile-an-hour pitch?
Yes!
You're a part of history.
You're like, and that, I knew, because I tweeted when I saw it, I was like, I knew exactly, because they announced it on the loudspeakers, and I was like messing around with my teammates. I was like, guys, it was that rise ball she threw to me. 100%. Like, that one was not like the others. And I mean, 75 feels fast, of course, every single time, but 78 really had some juice on it. And like, you can kind of see my face a little bit, and I'm like, when I saw it go by, it was crazy. Oh my gosh.
So funny.
That's insane. I can't even imagine. I mean, what you're talking about, though, I think is something that a lot of young kids need to hear about, not forcing things, like letting things happen and come to you and just trusting your process. Another thing I wanted to ask you about, too, that I think would be super helpful just for our audience of, young softballers. When you went into the portal and you transferred, it feels like, outside looking in, you found the perfect fit with Arkansas and with Coach Deifel. Can you just take us through what that entire process was like, and just, I feel like how much better and happier you are being at Arkansas where you're at now?
Yeah, so my parents played a huge part in the portal situation, and what they were kind of like set on me doing was I had to make a list of around like 3-4 things that what I was looking for in another program. And so whenever I would have phone calls or visits with other schools, like I would go through my list and say, okay, this is what I'm looking for. And it's like, I already messed up once. I don't want to mess up again. Like, I want to be absolutely sure that this is going to be the place for me. And so one of those things was for like coaching wise. I didn't necessarily want a coach who was like going to sit there and let me do whatever I want and let me, just not, holding me accountable. I wanted a coach that held me accountable and was hard on me, but that respected me. And so respect was huge, number one, like circled, starred, all of that in my list. And the next one was a hitting coach, like a good hitting coach and I wanted to talk through like plan and approach and like going into the box with the plan, because that's something that I didn't have at Auburn. And you can almost kind of tell, like looking back, watching my film, you can tell that I'm just going into the box, just swinging, like not really knowing what's going on. And especially like the better the pitching got, like when we faced Oklahoma, I was hitting off Jordy ball, and I looked like I had never, swung a bat before in my life. But so that was super important, is kind of talking through the approach and like watching film and like kind of like the number stuff the hitting coach and seeing if it was a good fit for me and like how my brain works. And then the third thing was a pitching staff, because that is also something that we lacked at Auburn. We just had one pitcher in Rotor the entire season, and she was great. But so those were the three main things that I can remember. And then another huge thing I looked at was being in the SEC. You have so many great things like the production and SEC Network and like watching or what was the Pac-12 and like watching an SEC game versus a Pac-12 game. It was like night and day difference. That was something that I looked into, and it's like how people are more likely to watch those games, and you can grow your brand more with like the opportunities that the SEC gives you. And so when I was nearing the end of my decision, because I had a few other schools in different conferences that I was looking at, and it came down to, of course, Arkansas met all three of my bullet points with shining colors. And then it really did come down to the fact that I still wanted to play in the SEC, and I couldn't just like, how are you supposed to not play? Like, how are you not supposed to play Alabama? Like, that is so. You don't get that anywhere else, like every team is your rival, and there's like every team is the coach you wanted to play for growing up, and it's just so special in the SEC. And so I really wanted to stay. And but yeah, coming down to it, Coach Deifel was the just the final, what's it called? Not the final straw.
Let's say
like,
the cherry on top.
Yes, cherry on top. She's so great, and you can tell just having a conversation with her that she means business and that she knows what she wants, and she's gonna get us there. And it was really important to me to know that she was still gonna be really tough on me, and is really tough on me. And like I can still sit and have a conversation with her. Like, I can sit across the table, look her in the eye, and have a conversation with her without feeling like tears well up in my eyes. And that is something that I couldn't say that I could do at my previous school. So she's just a great human, and playing for a great human and a great staff that cares for you is really important. But also to make you the athlete that you want to be is huge. So they're great.
The pipeline to the women's national team.
HPP has helped me find a new identity in like who I am as a player. It's helped show how hard work pays off, and it's really got me excited for the future of our game, the future for me, the future for my fellow athletes, and for what I strive to do in the future in college, and then potentially with USA softball in the future.
I love that. Great question, Halo. I think it's nice to hear, that it feels as if you've blossomed even more, and leads me into my question I was going to ask anyway, but it's a really nice segue. So thank you. Into the opportunities now post college. You went through kind of a big day, got a little ticket there from the Kim Eng herself. You want to walk us through the emotions? I mean, we saw the emotions,
so
but
awesome.
yeah,
So awesome.
we want to know more.
So the true VIP access into what happened that day is I was not feeling well at all. Like, I'll wake up sometimes and just be nauseous. Anyways, I think I went 1 for 3 that game. I was so angry. I was like, great, there goes my amazing numbers that everyone keeps talking about. Like, they're gone now. And in my last at bat, I was super nauseous and like couldn't see straight. I go in the dugout. I'm throwing up for like 10 minutes straight.
What?
Violently throwing up at the opposite end of the dugout. My coaches are like, okay, you ready to go back in? I'm like, no. Like, my head's in the trash can. I'm like, no, please let me just stay there. I'm like, why are they trying to get me to go back in so bad? Well, it's because I didn't know what was going on at the end. So thank goodness we ended up getting the 8th run in the 5th inning. So we got the run rule. Coach Michael comes up behind me while we're calling the Hogs, and he's like, okay, ready to puke and rally. And I'm like, what? Like, what do you mean? What's happening? And I turn around, and and our pitcher, Reese Berline, had just thrown a perfect game. And Megan, our camera person, was videoing me instead. And I remember being like, why is she videoing me? Like, it's Reese's special day. Like, she just threw a perfect game. Like, I'm talking about getting the poster ready because we make posters when our pitchers do something cool. So I'm thinking about the poster we're going to get, and I'm just like being a goof with my team. And I turn around, and here comes everyone walking towards me with the golden ticket. And so it was just like a very emotional, insane, crazy moment. And then on top of all of that, I had no idea. There was some kind of talk about like, hey, would you be interested in doing this? But you never really know until you know. And like, two people, was it two? Oh yeah, I was the third. So two people had already gotten it, and so my anxiety was like, well, only 10 left. Like, let's hope that you're one of the 10. And so just a lot of emotion. And like I said, like 3-4 months ago, I did not think that I was going to have the opportunity to play. And I knew that it was going to take some kind of special season to really like draw attention to me and get the opportunity to play in the league. So it was just crazy, and it was so cool. And I think Kim Eng is the coolest person ever. Before she even was the commissioner, I was obsessed with her. And so she was so cool, and there she was. And so that was just really just a crazy, like, out of body experience moment that honestly was so me, like that would happen. Like I would get the golden ticket to get drafted after like puking my guts out and having this crazy day.
That's
So
amazing. I'm so glad I asked.
So, I mean, Kim, we are also obsessed with Kim. So she is the real deal. Which
She's a gangster.
it was so pure to see that, and I think Sam would feel the same way. Is like your reaction about getting that opportunity and getting that golden ticket. I think is what we kind of fought for so long, was
Yes.
for you guys to have that opportunity to experience that emotion, for you to be able to be on your home field at Bogle Park in front of all of those special people, getting that opportunity to continue your career. It was
Yeah.
so pure to watch, and your
was.
reaction was just honestly priceless. Sorry about your nausea, but
Yeah.
what a great fun story.
It adds
what a
to it.
story to
It
tell.
ended on a high.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God.
Man.
Halo, I don't know if you want to take the floor here, because I know we've got, Bri's got stuff to do. So
Bri's a hot commodity. But yeah, Bri, I'm very curious to hear your answer to this question. So we end our podcast with the same question for all of our guests, and I think your answer is going to be awesome.
I'm excited.
But if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would it be?
First it would be to quit pitching because you're not going to be a pitcher, and give it up.
Period.
Second would be to do some cardio and some stretching, because I did not do any of that. And it's like has come back to bite me in the butt in my college career. And then third, I would say my like philosophical answer would be like, a lot of people are going to tell you a lot of different things about how they think that your career is going to look, and none of that matters. Like it really doesn't matter what any college coach or select travel ball coach says about what your career is going to look like or where you can and cannot go. Especially this day and age, like everything is changing, and really everything is so up in the air that it's all up to you, and it's what you make it. And so you can choose to listen to everyone else and say, okay, yeah, I'm not good enough for the first school because XYZ, and let me go to somewhere smaller, they're right. Or you can take your future in your own hands, go somewhere and do things for yourself that you know are worth your value and what you bring to the table. And at the same time, when things get hard, you can choose to either buckle down and feel sorry for yourself and play the victim, or you can kind of just get stronger because of it, be a better person because of it, and player, and just kind of persevere and push through, because that's what makes all of this so special, is the hardship and struggle that comes along with it. And I think that's really important, especially from the TikToks that we had recently of the like, you're so funny thing, blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. That was crazy. But my 2 cents on that is like, it's all what you make it. Like, I was put in a pretty bad situation myself, but I still had a great time, and I loved my teammates, and I loved softball, and I still do. If, your situation is bad, do with it what you will, and either quit and feel sorry for yourself or move on and be better. And you do it because you love the game. So don't let anyone alter your path for you because they think otherwise. That would be what I would say to my younger self.
Love that.
Well
That's
said.
so good. Well
Pitching,
said.
run on a treadmill, and get deep. That was good.
Yeah.
That was a great answer. That was possibly one of my favorites, Halo. I don't know about you. That was good.
Yeah, that's up there for sure.
Bri, thank you so much for taking the time. We know you've got, a big weekend coming up. We're always watching. But yeah, congrats on such an amazing senior year so far, and on getting the hand-delivered golden ticket from Kim. But yeah.
And we hope to see you in Oklahoma City.
We do.
as
Oh
well.
my gosh, yes.
We do.
If it's the last thing I do on this earth,
Yeah, we're
going there.
We're planning on
Yes.
seeing you there. So like, as long as
Yes.
your plans line up with our plan, like we're going.
Yes.
So we'll just
It's a
see you
girls
there.
trip.
We'll just
Girls
plan on
trip.
that. Yeah, girls trip. It's gonna be a girls trip. We'll woo pig suey all day. We really will.
We will. Murph might get mad at me a little bit, but I will woo pig all the way to Oklahoma City.
He's supportive.
He is.
Well, go have a great rest of your day, and a great weekend, and a great rest of your season. We'll see you in OKC and then beyond.
Yeah. Thank y'all so much. This was so fun.
Thanks, Bri.
Thanks, Bri.
At this time, we would like to thank the USA Softball Store at usasoftballstore.com for our amazing gear this week. You guys can have the exact same gear that Samu and I have literally right now if you go to usasoftballstore.com. So go literally right now, and you can use code BHB15 right now and get 15% off your entire purchase. So buy a lot of stuff, get that 15%, let it all go to use. usasoftballstore.com. Again, that code is BHB15.